Right, welcome back. We are on bag D. Bag D. E and bag F. Put the other bags up there. So bag D. So far, touch wood, this has been a really nice build. Need to replace that razor blade in a bit. So we'll sort out bag D. Got rid of my rubbish bag. I have to use that box. Okay, got some shock uprights. So wheel hexes, drive shafts, out shaft, front hubs. Okay. So there is an option for front CVDs on this. I did not go for that option. No particular reason why. I mean, it was more expensive. I didn't want to spend on it. Again, wanted to keep it as stock to my original as I could. Well, I didn't want to keep it as stock to my original. I didn't want... Oh, the dreaded E-clips. I didn't want to... I wanted the chassis to be relatively, I guess, close to the original. Not exact, but relatively close. I also picked up my tweezers from upstairs, right bearings. Okay, so there's 1 and 2 on each sprue. I want the number 2s of the rears. So where's my snips? Number 2s of the rears. Okay, 3 dots facing forwards. Long pin, the flat surface at the rear. Three dots to the front. Now, one thing we need to make sure here is this flat sits outwards to us. Interesting, it's not greased. Like that, and then one of these set screws goes in here to hold it in place. Okay. Front hub carrier. Oh, the marks left and right as well. That's nice. So we're going to do left first. Okay, let's get it over and done with. Let's do the E-clip. So before we do the E-clip, drink. Okay, quick check. That looks like it's all the way in. Just give it a quick tweak to make sure. Yep, that's all the way in. Okay, so E-clip is done. Open baggie. Baggie. We've got foam. 34.16. That will do. That'll do, donkey. That'll do. Now these go between steering linkage here and the steering linkage there. Rear hubs. So again, nicely done, Kyosho. There's an R and an L. So we're going to do the right one first. By gaff. Silicone oil. Dreaded thin shock. Okay. So I ran out of memory card and didn't notice. I was head down building the shocks. But just to show you, so we built the shocks in the last session. Interesting design. So inside the shocks, you've got a little spacer in there, a couple of O-rings, obviously the shaft, got this piece, a spacer for the front shocks, and then your shock piston held on by 2 E-clips, and then screws in from the bottom. So these are can't unscrew the top. It's a unique design. And then the rear shocks are the same, but without the 2mm spacer. So you've got this kind of floating piston and that. And we're going to fill them now. We've got, kind of having a look through, we've got finished the shock build. So fill the shocks, put the rings on that hold the springs, fit the shocks to the chassis itself. We're not going to fit the electronics at the moment. I've done a couple of test fits. I know where it's going to go, but we'll fit the front bumper, we'll fit the servo, steering, the rest of the gearbox, fit the wheels and tyres, finish up the gearbox, fit the motor, and that's probably where we'll stop this video. And then in the next video, I'll do the electronics and the body, and we'll put it all together. So it might be a shorter number 3. So right now we're just going to fill the shocks. So we'll start with one of the small ones. Now it does say fill it to the line, which I don't know whether you can see in there, there is a little line just below the bottom of the threads. So we fill it with that. Put the lid on and then squish the piston down before you seal it. And then we use these 2 tools. That fits in there. And that fits on there to do them up. Have gone with the stock settings. So for the stock settings for this basic setup is the 100 CST oil and front A and rear C pistons. That's what we've got, because I'm not going to be running it on tarmac particularly or AstroTurf. If you were running it on AstroTurf, say for high grip surfaces, it says use the B piston front and rear and use a heavier silicone oil. So, but this is going to be a bit of an off-road play thing. So soft shock setup seems like the way to go. Okay, that's the oil filled. Put it in. Not all the way to the seal. And then we push down and the oil seeps out as we expect. Put shock in that. No. Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, they feel really good. Okay, I'll get some. We've got some IPA. I'll clean the shocks up with IPA, because we know we're going to have to put a physical clamp on. Obviously, with a physical clamp, we don't want an oily shock surface. Front, left and rear, left and right shocks. Right, rear shocks. Very nice. So now putting the shocks on the chassis, and it looks like the adjustment is the thin one, the adjustment face. Yeah, so the adjust face always faces forward. Okay, front bumper and then electronics. So this is where we're going to differ a little bit. We're not going to do all the electronics. So we're going to use the large front bumper. I think actually, I can't remember whether I think I did have the large front bumper as a kid. Don't think I used the racing bumper. So there's a kind of a much smaller racing bumper. I don't remember using that as a kid. I think I had the big one with the Kyosho Racing written on it at the front. So we're not going to do all the electrics. We're not going to do the electrics install now. We are going to install we're going to center the servo and install the servo. You get extra of these clips. You have to push the gear on first. You have to notice the way the gear goes round, and you push it all the way through, and then this clip goes on. And clips in and holds the spur gear on. So there she is. A little bit springy, but I think that's designed for off-road. So the motor connectors are going to run like this. I might actually put a strap around there to keep them down. Keep them out of the way. I know there's some electronics to go on. That little bit of play, but no, there's not a lot of play in there considering that kind of linkage. I'm really, really happy with how the chassis has come on. We're now in a position where we've got a lovely, beautiful rolling chassis ready for electrics and paint. So, off camera, I'm going to check. I think that's a spare because I also have a spare grub screw. Off camera, I'm going to have a tidy up. We're going to prep for electronics and paint. That'll be the next episode. The next episode will likely be shorter because by the time we've done a little bit of electronics, I'll do a little bit of a look at the Super Furia X speed controller. I've got the app on my phone. We'll do a bit of a screen share of that. I'm going to just go over and tighten, just make sure everything's tightened up. There's nothing loose. There's nothing hanging around. And then we'll paint the body shell ready for a final reveal. So thank you very much for watching. If you've watched episode 1 and 2, thank you so much for watching and your support. I hope you've enjoyed the build of this absolute legend of a machine. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one.